All right, this video today is about growing the sport of pole vault. A lot of people in the pole vault community talk about growing the sport. They'd like to see more people pole vaulting. They'd like to see more people coaching. They'd like to see more fans, just overall more popular. But are they serious? Or are they just giving it lip service? Because I think it's real easy to say, hey, I'd love to see the sport grow. That's easy. But what are the actions showing? I think if we're really being honest and transparent, some people like the sport being the size it is. Some people want to be a king of a castle as long as they're king. They don't care about the size of that castle. I think some people are scared that if that castle starts to grow, if pole vault grows at a sport, they might not be king anymore. And they're afraid of losing that spot. I hear a lot of people talking about, don't post on social media. Don't bother having technical discussions. Well, I can't tell you how many times when I was younger, I was a young coach, I started coaching in 2004, pole vault power was very, very popular. And I can't thank Becca Gillespie enough for starting pole vault power. And the people like Alan Launder and DJ who posted so often, they literally would be arguing with 11-foot high school boys about technique. But the thing is, through those debates, repetitively saying the same things over and over, I learned, so many others learned about the sport. There's tremendous value in posting on social media. It allows more people to learn about our sport, to learn about the different processes and systems and the different techniques and ways to go about pole vaulting. Why aren't people posting more on social media? Why are people resistant about it? I think there's three major concerns. I think one, there's a lot of people out there, they don't have anything to say. They don't have something that they can contribute to the sport. They can't tell you about their process. They may have only ever coached one person, and that person was a stud. And there's not really a lot of tangible things that they can tell you other than if you pick out a really strong athletic person, they can jump high. Number two, I think people are afraid of criticism. Like, I'm sure some people are gonna watch this video and criticize it. I'm okay with that. First of all, let me tell you, even if you're not posting on social media, 100% you have critics out there. Regardless if they comment or say something on social media, those critics are out there. So don't let that stop you. Number three, and the final thing, I know some people are afraid that someone might find out their secrets and they'll lose their competitive advantage in coaching pole vault if someone knows their methods. I'm gonna give you an analogy talking about cooking. If you have a restaurant and you come up with this really, really great entree and you start to get more customers at your restaurant, a master chef doesn't ever have to see your recipe. They take a taste of that entree, they'll be able to recreate it. They'll be smart enough to figure it out. So the really good coaches out there, you're not hiding anything by not putting out your content on social media. And anyone who's not a master chef and is starting to learn, well, look, at Apex Vaulting, I have over 100 athletes a year. We've been around for over a decade. I've had people coach right next to me for years at a time. And look, they're not on my level. They're good, but they're not on my level. You can't do that quickly. It takes time, it takes experience, it takes countless hours of watching jumps over and over to get to the level that a master coach is at. Putting one 30-second video on Instagram is not gonna all of a sudden make someone else a master coach like you that quickly. But it just might help them get a little bit better. It might help that guy who's got an 8-foot girl trying to jump 8'6", get to that next level, bust through that plateau. You might help that kid who's jumping 12 hit 13. So don't be afraid of losing your secrets. Because if you're worried about losing your secrets, and that's why you're not being involved in social media, you can't help countless numbers of people out there. I've helped kids that, first of all, I don't even know what state they jump in. They've DM'd me on Instagram. I've sent them drills and progressions that I've posted on my Instagram. I had a kid from Louisiana that went from 10-6 to 12-6 this year in a matter of a month. Think about the amount of people that you can help through social media. Stop being afraid. And on the other hand, if you're refusing to put your content out there, just know others will. And they're gonna get a fan base, they're gonna get a following, and they're gonna be impacting people's lives. Social media is amazing because it allows us very easily to contact so many more people. There is no value in a group of 5, 10 guys having all this little bit of pole vault knowledge and not sharing it with anyone. If the sport is really going to grow, people need to share their knowledge, share their experiences. I know even myself, I've benefited from posting on social media because getting comments and DMs from people and sometimes having discussions where people are arguing with me has taught me a lot. It's challenged me to be more knowledgeable. Because if I don't have a response to someone who criticizes me, that's bad. That means I have to think about my technique. I need to think about my process and develop an answer for them. I can't have a gap in my system. It's just taking things to the next level. The other thing that I want to touch upon, people need to get back to their followers. There are kids that are commenting on elite vaulters' Instagrams and Facebooks and asking simple questions. And the elite pole vaulters don't have time to get back to the kid. Now look, I'm sure there are plenty of elite vaulters that are answering. And that's awesome, keep doing that. That's gonna get you a bigger fan base. That's gonna change that athlete's life too. Might help them stick with the sport a little bit longer if they're going through a tough time. But I'm telling you, I've seen kids ask sincere questions and people ignore them, and on top of it, someone sometimes bullies a kid and no one answers. Do you think that kid's gonna stay with pole vault after they got bullied on an elite vaulter's thread? No, they're gonna switch sports. So if you really care about this sport, if you really wanna see it grow, if you wanna have more fans as an elite vaulter, interact with the fan base. Interact with the people. Bring value to the table. Thanks for listening.